Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Treasurer. Of all the disturbing images to come out of this pandemic, one of the most haunting is the image of faces of public housing residents pressed up against the windows of their high-rise apartments, with police surrounding their homes as they were put under emergency hard lockdown back in July. The pandemic has uncovered many cracks in our society, but the overcrowded and inadequate state of Victoria's public housing surely sits at the top of the list. And when it comes to public housing, Victoria still spends the lowest amount per person of any state or territory in Australia. Yet we know that investment in public housing creates not just homes, but also jobs when we need them the most. My question is, in the upcoming Victorian budget, will there be a significant funding for building new public housing in Victoria?
Call the Treasurer.
I thank the member for Melbourne for her question, and can I say at the outset, in order to be consistent, you'll have to wait for the budget to find out what's in the budget. But can I also say that we've spoken this place before, and we do recognise the government through its investment in Homes for Victorians and the effort that we've put already into public housing, the effort that we've put into maintenance, the effort that we've put into new stock, is a start, but it is unfinished business. We recognise that, and the government will continue to work diligently in order to address this. And I do make the point that the advice that we have from Treasury in terms of the best employment-generating, economy-growing investment at the moment is into public and social housing, and the government is looking at what we can do. But beyond that, I can just simply say to the member that she will have to wait for the budget.
Member for Melbourne on a supplementary.
I thank the Treasurer for his answer. I appreciate that this government has made some investment around the margins when it comes to public housing, under pressure, I have to add. But there is now independent research suggesting that there's now over 100,000 people on our public housing waiting list. That is 100,000 children, families, people who are eligible for public housing but can't get a spot because we simply don't have enough in Victoria. And let's not forget, this is people sleeping in cars, on couches, in motels, in temporary crisis shelters and on the streets. I appreciate I have to wait for the budget, but can the Treasurer give us any assurance that investment will actually create any kind of dent in the 100,000 person public housing waiting list?
Treasurer.
Once again, I thank the member for Melbourne. Can I certainly say this, that we have indicated to her that we see this as being a job in progress. Continuing effort will be made. I don't really thank her so much for the damning us with faint praise from what have been very substantial investments that the government has made to date in this area. But I might also just demonstrate that the government is also not only looking at the broader public housing stock issue, but what we need to do in terms of homelessness and dealing with that. Of course, the rapid interventions that the government put in place in order to protect the most exposed in our community is a demonstration of the priorities that this government lives large through the choices that it makes in the context of its budget. We will continue to act in accordance with those values, and we recognise that this is a job that is yet incomplete.